There are those that question why a man such as myself, a man who treasures his privacy, would willingly subject himself to the public eye. I question the man who wouldn't step forward when his city, his heart, is in such a time of need.
Now, welcome back, ladies, gentlemen, and Reese's Pieces in between. We live in an age of transparency and fluidity that both take part of the information that's profoundly private that we're able to access someone else at any given moment in time to the actual measure in which we're scaled by. Because if you're not defined by something, then you might as well kind of be nothing. And there was a quote here from someone that wasn't very highly loved, but this quote now means way more than it ever did. And he said, if you win, you don't need to explain anything. And if you lose, well, then there's nothing to explain. Now, that quote was by Adolf Hitler, and although fucking very hated, and even though the other half that love and adore him think he was a great and wise man, he was at the very least a man with purpose and on a mission. And I think that's what kind of creates something that's gonna remain and keep relevancy in whatever matter that is. And by him mentioning that, by it meaning so much to have to give explanation to, it kind of makes me think of like when you see people stunting online. And when I say stunting, I'm meaning if not just blatantly showing off some sort of expensive product, then more or less it's just them saying, look at me, look what I'm doing, I'm fucking very happy. And although that's fucking very good, that's kind of time consuming, and actually having to take the time to be able to show that so other fuckers can know this, because it's none of the goddamn business. And unless you're trying to, let's say, share that with your significant other because they directly need to know this information, that's one thing. And if they share it and they repost it, then I guess that's another thing. But when you're just giving it for the masses to consume, to whether it's keeping up with an image or just to give a facade about yourself, it creates something to have to uphold and something to have to maintain. And anything like that, whether it's a motherfucking swimming pool or just something that stands in general, it's gonna have to need its maintenance. And I feel like that's just what becomes the biggest bitch and the biggest just burden. And you can relate that to kids, you can relate that to a relationship, you can relate that to just having to be, because you gotta keep yourself up, you gotta fix yourself up, you gotta be able to at least be well oiled so you can be the proper machine that gives and gives and gives to a society that is really given up to another higher being that is definitely enjoying themselves way more than you. And it's kind of a terrible thing, I would think. Just a scotch. No, it's kind of a little bit too much for an opening monologue, but let's just all get on the same page. So let's say equality, because we're going to have a female president, and also we're going to all be in the same page, and, we're going to show that women can do it too. Now, BBC actually reported that women actually already nearing equality without even having to have Hillary. So if there's any way to stop that, that'd be great, but we fucking know what's going to happen. But now this male equality is actually in alcohol consumption. And there's some kind of analysis of like over 4 million people just kind of showing the likelihood of how men would drink and how now women drink, which can be seen as, okay, girls are badass too, but that doesn't necessarily mean these bitches are taking shots and, speaking theory. No, it's more than likely means it's a bitch that's stuck at home, whether it's drinking her wine, which, baby, I ain't mad at you if you are, because I want my woman to be wined and comfortable and hopefully have the house fucking clean so when daddy gets home, he can have his dick sucked and he can do the damn thing and leave you in peace while he goes and, lives online, whether it be a podcast or video games. But that's getting off subject. Now, with another realm of drinking is gonna probably be a bitch taking shots. You know what I'm saying? Trying to shake her worries away, trying to live in the now and to be her and to suck as many dicks as she wants to because she isn't confined to just one, or it's because she has a wide spade of loneliness. I mean, a void of loneliness that's just very hard to fill. Unlike a vagina that can have a cock and so on, she's satisfied for the moment, but you're nearing these things, and it just made me laugh when I fucking read this thing because I'm like, oh, okay, well, good for you, bitches, good for you. Although this article was also linked with just having, heart failure and just all the things that kind of happened with their body, and that's kind of why I mentioned the matter of upkeep. And I know me myself, I've been fucking paddling, I've been growing, and I'm fat. And if you notice, you ain't been seeing me because I don't want you to. I feel hideous. And it's so funny that even upon other programs, there was just talks about how now men kind of being bitch-like, and I don't want to say that I'm bitch-like, but I can't help that there is this characteristic in my mind, and I don't know how this gets, put into the realm of how the masses, they want to compete with these more beautiful beings. And it's not even like I myself, in comparing to having to keep up with your Zac Efrons or your, I don't know, James Dean wasn't necessarily oh yeah, we'll throw him in there, just any kind of whatever your beauty is. And I know the Johnny Depps of the world are up there. Chris Pratt, who should be fucking by far the clearest definition of you being able to change, just the strictness in which it takes to be able to do that. And I mean, no creamer with my coffee, no bread with my PB and jelly. Like, come on now, but you gotta make your sacrifices, no doubt. And you know what? Alcohol has never really been my thing. As much as I like to say, I was at a rager, and actually, you know what? I mean, I guess I had my little back in the day things of drinking, but I'm at the point now where, nigga, I get headaches. That shit is not fun. I don't know why the fuck anybody would do that after getting that. Like, it just doesn't make any fucking sense. I mean, the one thing of maintaining in the other highs, you gotta keep consuming in order to kind of stay up. And I mean, I guess at least with weed, you can keep maintaining and keep going up, and eventually the crash is just gonna be a fucking either a nap or a really good fucking sleep, in which case you really can't go on without either of those, so that doesn't really ring a problem. But once again, that's a conversation for another day. Go equality. Now, in the same realm, though, of equality and, just kind of roles somewhat being reversed, I always remember, and I always got mad because my mom was quite the cunt, and it didn't help that my daddy was a hoe, but I remember my mama would always be smashing my daddy's things every time he got caught up cheating or, maybe slipping out of a bitch's house, red-handed, like, Mama, why you gotta make a scene out of things? But I always remember just constant destruction by in that regard, and we never could have nice shit because my old man always had to replace it. Now, does that give him an out for being a dirty dog? Well, not necessarily, but his actions weren't costing us having to come out of pocket to replace things that we already had. We could have so much more if we didn't have to replace shit. Now, whether or not that sounded selfish, mind you, that was a 12-year-old thinking there, but even looking back at it, it's kind of what I agree with. And mind you, I was not giving a no to either side, but God damn it, Mama, why you gotta be breaking shit? Now, nowadays, it almost seems like it's the man who's gonna see the woman, creeping or cheating and make a fucking scene out of shit. Now, mind you, does it fucking hurt? Well, yeah, I'm sure it does. I mean, have I been cheated on? Well, as far as I know, it was once, but the bitch was already a hoe, so I didn't even take it all that much into account. So, what the fuck can I say? But now now just looking back and mind you, I mean, she ain't gonna fucking listen to this shit. This bitch actually hated when I spoke. Out of all things, and most bitches that have been with me, who have got with me, that have been in a relationship with me, or just even a piping down, they spoke to me because they loved hearing me talk. Now, it's not like I have the most luxurious voice, and God bless them for thinking so, and those that still do, but that was, I felt like my one gift that, God gave me was my voice, and I had to use it to be able to speak to the masses, or to be able to bring down some panties in His name, Yahweh. But how can you not like the one thing that I'm most proud of, and I'm not too sure if that was her way to try to level my playing fields, but this bitch would just get mad when I spoke. And I've talked about her a shitload before. She was the Puerto Rican whore that really rocked my fucking world and makes me think of a Michael Jackson song. But you know what? I hate Michael Jackson, so fuck him and fuck you, my dear. I'm so sorry. But what I'm trying to talk about right now was a man who smashed his ex-girlfriend's vibrator after getting jealous over it. And this motherfucker's from the UK. Actually, no, this shit happened in the UK, even though he's from Canada. And he just, I guess he was just getting his shit because he broke up with his ex-girlfriend. He's leaving. He sees the little bullet vibrator there and just fucking chucks it out the fucking window. And actually reportedly told the cops because there was surveillance footage of this. And for some reason, not to get too sidetracked, there was a lot of surveillance footage of ex-boyfriends either breaking into girls' houses or just having footage of them taking shit, happening to see a dildo and smashing the fuck out of it. Now, I can understand that's competition. I mean, you're talking about an item that either needs to use vibrators or batteries in order to power on, or just the good old-fashioned cranks that's just a big old dick without the rest of the complication and gives you exactly what you need. Now, that in itself already makes you think, well, shit. I mean, a man, no matter, how long it can go for, the longest I think I've gone to is about 2 hours or some shit. And I've heard of people going 6. I've heard of people going all fucking day with barely a few snack breaks. And I can't do all that shit. But the fact that you can have something that can go unlimitedly, I mean, you can literally fuck someone to death with a goddamn dildo ass tool with a dick. You're gonna need someone to tag someone else in, or once again, you're gonna need a healthy break. And the fact that these guys would get mad at this shit, break this shit, once again, I get mad because I just think to myself, like, nigga, like, that was her toy, whether you bought it for her or not. Like, let it do what it does. And why are you gonna get mad about yourself? Thinking about how that wedged its way into a relationship, because more than likely it's their shitty attitude or maybe a bitch's wholeness. I mean, who knows what the fuck the reasons are, and every couple has their own reasons for doing what they do as a couple. I mean, you can't fucking hate on someone's decision. So don't get mad at that, and don't get mad at the inevitable object, however the fuck you say, thing that doesn't live but people use. Because once again, it's just a fucking item. It's just a material thing. And there's probably deeper issues to have to go with. Actually, I remember an ex, her having quite a collection of toys. And I wasn't intimidated by any means because I didn't fucking use them unless she just really wanted, some double action shit that I myself wasn't wanting to be limber enough for. Because, my nigga be lazy. Sometimes he just wants to get his rocks off. And anyways, of course, when you're hungry, you're going to do what you must, and you're going to be a wolf. And there's a reason why there's that one song, it's some 80s track about being hungry like a wolf, blah, blah, blah. Now, since I'm kind of attacking the ladies right now, let me just go in and on a bitch from Boston that, I don't know how you cannot, I mean, mind you, if you don't go to the hospital, if you don't get checked up, if you don't test for things, how the fuck are you gonna know something, right? I mean, you probably, and Lord forbid that you're having to, but in the future, be affected by people who get, certain or sudden cause of illness, right? And I don't even want to speak anything into existence, because what we speak into should hopefully be of love, and may we all bask in it, and we all grow, and we all learn, and everything's all fucking hunky-dory. But this bitch, who had been in multiple, she had been in a car accident. This bitch talks about going on whatever roller coaster rides in her local area, and who knows how many dicks she's jumped on and has gone fucking ape shit crazy on. And God bless those women, because that means for a good time and a fucking penicillin shot and some other shit that you had to get at the free clinic that's going to be mad embarrassing. So you want to be all anonymous and shit. Not that I would know about that kind of thing, but who knows what this bitch did, because she had menstrual cycles, she had no morning sickness. But this bitch, mama to be, goes to the hospital thinking she has bad gas and leaves with the motherfucking baby. Now, this woman who had checked in the hospital complaining about bad stomach aches, she was shocked to learn that she was pregnant and she was about to give fucking birth. Now, Miss, and then I hope she's not fucking Mexican, but who knows by this fucking name, Ayana Martinez, 23, went into the same Memorial Hospital on Sunday. Once again, to probably thinking she had to take a wicked shit, and yes, she did. She had a 5 pound, 4 ounce fucking Jackson St. Pierre, and that's the name of the baby who was born. Like they literally had to fucking drag the baby daddy in because he thought she was bullshit, and I guess this kind of takes away me from jumping on multiple dicks. But I just imagine bitches in Boston are constantly drunk, constantly asking for the cat keys, and drunk stumbling somewhere. I mean, I know that's kind of stereotypical, but I mean, and the bitch is Mexican. They known to populate, so who the fuck knows? But how she couldn't have known this kind of thing and been actually tested when being in a fucking accident. I mean, this baby is definitely a blessing, and Lord prays that it's fucking strong and bountiful, and it grows and it's healthy. But how can you go through all that? And those are some things you don't want to happen during a pregnancy and then not even know about it. So I said some things, they just happen. God bless them. Now, if it seems like I'm really bashing on bitches, I promise you it's only because I'm misogynistic. But I got one last fucking little tale to tell. That there was a drunk, beautiful little idiota. She was a Texas A&M student. And this bitch fucking hits a goddamn parked cop car while she was taking a fucking Snapchat selfie. And yes, the bitch was naked. Butt ass fucking naked. I mean, she took her top off because I couldn't see the bitch fucking taking her jeans or skirt off while she's fucking behind the wheel. But to take off a t-shirt, unclap your bra, it only takes one fucking hand, right? Well, this fucking bitch, and I can't believe that. I mean, shit. God bless the guy who's fucking getting these Snapchat updates to fucking then see yourself fucking, with tits pressed against the fucking cop car. And you're thinking, ooh, this is like a sexy costume. But no, this bitch is getting arrested. But anyways, her name is Miranda K. Rader, R-A-D-E-R. This bitch is 20. Like I said, she's small, she's petite, she's everything you want to see in a Snapchat picture. And this bitch, I guess, was coming from her girlfriend's house. She had a fucking open bottle of wine there, and I don't know if she was like a quarter of the way done with it or some bullshit, but bitches, she fucking crashed into a cop car that is parked. And supposedly, as the cop was approaching, up to her, she was like barely like trying to hurry and put her fucking blouse down. So she was, pretty conscious. She knew what she was doing. She just realized, like, damn, like this just happened too suddenly. This parked car came out of nowhere too fucking quickly, and sorry. Now the fucking most hilarious thing, in a way, she's this little thing, and she's in this big ass SUV, fucking ramming into this little fucking, I don't know, Crown Vic or whatever the fuck this cat was in. And it's just like, man, like, poor baby. And I wish we can leak her nudes, because we should all be able to see them. We give her fucking name, man. Like, that has to be embarrassing. I don't know how the fuck you go back to school and have people not know about that. So, I mean, luckily, more and more people who report nothing, they don't really fucking show the name and shit. But you look up the town, go to San Antonio, whatever the fuck, you gonna see her. God bless the Rita. I'm so sorry that happened, but you know what? You shouldn't have been doing it. Let that be a lesson. And it's a fucking scary damn thing to be able to go through that. And I know, man, I remember I was busted. I'm gonna tell y'all some shit. I was hit with a DUI. And like I said, I'm not an alcoholic, so it was just so fucking funny for that shit to be the thing to get me. But I was with my buddy. He was younger. I was supposed to be the designated driver. And mind you, we're both underage. But I had, made the decision. Like, you know what, dude? You looked out for me last time. So let me look out for you this time. You enjoy yourself. But you know what? Upon seeing him enjoy himself, a little bit of that Arizona haterism just kind of came in a little too deeply. And I was like, fuck this shit. I want to enjoy myself too, God damn it. And yeah, it was straight up stereotype, man. I was like about a block away. I was making my last turn that I needed to make before getting this motherfucker home, where eventually we would have chilled, maybe had ourselves a blunt, fucking falling asleep to some fucking cartoons or whatever the hell, and some grub, right? And now fucking got pulled over. Like, I wasn't hardly drunk, and people always fucking say that, but literally when they gave me my fucking breathalyzer, I was like 0.04. And literally on the fucking ticket it said to the slightest degree. And instead of me somehow fighting, because I didn't fucking know I could, I got fucking busted with it. Got that shit on my record. I even got a fucking breathalyzer. And at that time, Arizona was being its strictest. And, for good fucking reason, too, because people really fucking cause damage. And, could I have been? I mean, who knows if I would have kept thinking I was unstoppable or shit like this didn't happen out of the fucking random. But, it did. And, man, I remember it was mandatory a year to have that breathalyzer thing. And for those that don't know, it's a little mechanism that in order to start your car, you have to blow into this device. You literally had to give head to some shit and cradle balls and everything to make sure everything's connected so you can get a green light to tell you, okay, you're not drunk. Go ahead and turn on the car. And as you're driving, damn near every 30 seconds, it's asking you to do it again just to make sure you didn't stop for a quick one or whatever the fuck, as if, I don't know. I mean, people can be drastic. And I remember even hearing little home remedies about how to evade that and how to still get that bitch to work. Like, that's too complicated. Fuck that. They're draining at least, 2 G's and more, just to be able to do this thing, to prove this fucking lesson when really just having to spend 24 hours into our incarceration system, having to be transported from place to place, having to meet more motherfuckers that, are going to teach you a lesson one way or another, or at least give you some knowledge of more things that you probably don't need to learn about. Kind of like I had to do this. They called it a dynamic living course. It was pretty much like group therapy kind of shit. And people would go in, talk about certain experiences. And the dude that, that was my counselor or whatever the fuck you want to call it, he kind of reminded me of Larry Fitzgerald, just in look and all. He was kind of a wise cat. And I remember him kind of, he was just real, and I can't really think of too much shit off the top, but you had to fucking give a donation of $20, a mandatory donation, which is the word saying like, you came to class, give us some money. And it's just, once again, it's more ways to drain you, but obviously it's its own ecosystem. It creates, jobs and hopefully teaches lessons. But if anything, I felt more aggravated than anything else. But you have to go through whatever it is you have to go through in order for you to proceed forward, because once again, that's when you hit the next level and it's time for something else. And if you don't ever learn anything else, you're gonna remain stagnant and you ain't gonna really move, and you're gonna make sure train, you'll ride, and you ain't gonna have shit else to do. And that's what happened to this St. Louis, Missouri cat. His name was Dustin French, and I think he was coming out from work or something like that, but he was going out on a Thursday night, 11 p.m. to be exact, so I'm hoping he was to go get some snatch. But this guy, though, he was coming up to his car, and this kid who, I say kid because he was like late teens, early 20s. Anyways, he has a gun. He puts it up to Dustin's head and saying, give me everything, empty your pockets and give me your keys. And I guess dude was slick enough to just kind of give him his keys and cower away and say, what else do you need me to do? Like, and kind of hesitation, but still tough guyness, tells him to just run away. So he does that, but this guy doesn't get very far. Matter of fact, he doesn't move at all, and the fucking carjacker leaves the fucking car behind because he fucking figures out that it's manual transmission. And God bless that situation, because the nigga would have lost his car. I don't even know how often nowadays, unless you're a car enthusiast or race enthusiast, or you watch fucking Gone in 60 Seconds and became inspired, or fucking maybe grew up watching the Fast and Furious joints, or whatever the fuck. Most people, if they even want to drive, and I've realized that most teens nowadays don't even want to. They've actually done studies, and I've seen it myself with some of my cousins, God bless them. Yeah, youth don't give no fucks about driving. Nigga, take me where I gotta be at, or get me where I need to be at, or I'm gonna get someone who can take me where I need to be. And you know what? If you can live that way, then fucking hey, God bless it, because it's a bitch to have to do your thing, and I'd rather play PS Vita, twiddling my thumbs one way or another, than having to fucking man through traffic and have to deal with fucking assholes that, on their own fucking journey. But once again, so in that same respect, not many people are even driving, so let alone when they do, I'm pretty sure they're gonna take the easier route. And I did eventually learn how to drive a stick car. I did end up having to blow the fucking transmission on said vehicle to be able to learn how to do it anyway, but it was a learning experience, and really, it isn't too difficult. I noticed that gas was even cheaper. It seemed like it, because you're not getting an extra overhaul of shit. You're getting exactly what you need, and you're the one that's pressing the button. So, I mean, for any fan of racing games or just fan of operation in general, then that's the thing to do. And I remember trying to, I could have a cigarette while I'm driving. Eventually, once you get to 50, you just kind of coasting it. But it's you definitely can't be fucking texting and driving while you driving a manual stick. At least back when I rode it, cars weren't that prevalent, or it wasn't such a major part of life. I imagine we shouldn't be fucking texting and driving at all, but you definitely need to be fucking paying attention when you're doing that. And this is a lesson that motherfucker never had to deal with. So, like I said, this Dustin French cat gotta keep his fucking car in his, in his shit while this motherfuckers had to hightail it out of there. So that was hilarious. And in the same realm of just jacking in general, it's never a fucking, good time to have to deal with that shit. And sometimes, if people have to provide to be able to eat, I mean, that's debatable and that's one thing. But, when it comes to have to take so much shit, it's just a fucking bummer. It's just bad karma. And I mean, I don't know what else to fucking say about it, but getting your shit stolen sucks. And I know that especially when it comes to, let's say, your car, and maybe you don't have fucking insurance, and even if you were to have insurance and the bitch gets stolen, you're only gonna get the fucking value of it, which definitely is not what you paid for or are still paying for. And it's shitty, and that doesn't help anybody. I can understand you ripping off the banks or ripping off big businesses, but shit like that, it's fucked up. It's not cool. And especially, let's say, for those that are in bikes, I mean, it's so easy, and I've never fucking tried, but to be able to steal a bike, even if it's cutting off, sawing off, whatever the fuck, clipping off shit and brakes and locks that you have for these shits, which aren't fucking cheap either. So to have that shit and fucking come back and have your wheels missing, your fucking steering, your pegs, and just have the fucking frame, it's just shitty in all regards. And I guess ain't really stopping something like that from happening, but there is this new type of lock. It's called a skunk lock, and it's manufactured supposedly from the strongest matte riles available. And it even goes a step further. It says that inside of it is a secret series of chemical compounds that act as a pressurized detergent that irritates and fucking makes motherfuckers actually vomit. Skunk, what I'm saying? It stinks. It's just imagine them trying to fucking saw some shit off, and then it's just fucking gas kind of comes in onto you, and it fucking makes you throw up. It literally has odors that trigger shit that will make you throw up. So hopefully that makes them go away, the jacker that is, and hopefully you get to keep your shit, because it's just, again, it's such a bitch to have to, you feel like you're protecting yourself and it doesn't do a damn thing. Kind of like when I saw like Viper alarms, and it has a cool little fucking LED light and it flashes blue and it lets you know, hey, don't fuck with me, I'm gonna be loud. But what the fuck gives a fuck about that? Because people in straight up daylight can, jack some shit like that. And it sucks when you get sucker punched and you get took and you lose the battle, so to speak, and it stings even more to not have been able to do anything about it in the first place, especially when something can be taken so fucking easily. So to be able to have that one fucking hit in makes the world of difference. And yeah, okay, you took my shit, but I hope you fucking have bad shits that day. An eye for an eye, maybe. I don't know if that's equivalent or not, but like I said, you at least need that one hit, just once. And I guess in transportation related news, there's a dude that actually, it happened here in Phoenix, ended off in Chandler, but a man stops at an in-and-out drive-thru during a police chase. And when I first heard about it, I'm thinking, man, this nigga trying to get his last meal? Like, what the fuck is going on? Because did he kill somebody? Because he'll at least get his last meal. Then he doesn't have to, stop at a fucking in-and-out. Because Lord knows when you go there, you're going to be waiting at least 20 minutes. And is it worth it? I mean, I would say, yeah, it's some good ass shit, and it's Christian owned or based or started as, and I always respect when I hear shit like that, when I see that, or when I get some French fries and you see the John 3:16 at the bottom of it, even though it might seem minuscule to some, even like some gum manufacturer owners, I forget what company, but he puts actual verses, just like the numbers and abbreviation, and puts it like somewhere on the gun, which I think it's dope. Once again, it's setting your beliefs. It's not shoving it down anyone's throat unless said motherfucker with said gun is putting it down someone's throat. But besides all that, this cat who apparently, and I didn't quite understand because they didn't give too many details as to why he was being chased. This 35-year-old man named, what was it? Joshua Atkins. He was booked on a suspicion of unlawful flight from law enforcement, which once again means he was on a chase. But then it says aggravated assault / domestic violence and unlawful imprisonment, which makes me think that maybe he had his baby mama or lover fucking shackled in or some shit like that. But I'm still wondering, and obviously that's not cool at all. So obviously he was booking it, he was being chased, and the Fox 10 coverage that was on this thing was kind of amazing because there was unmarked cars all along the freeway. And every time I'm driving the freeway, I'm always wondering, hey, is that one of those cars? Is that one of those fucking unmarked shits? And you try to look into the glass, and it's dark as fuck. I mean, they ain't playing, and they will get you. And I'm sure there's way more of those than what we catch on. You might think you might notice it from the fucking license plate shit, but no, they slicker than that. Anyways, throughout the whole fucking chase, they literally have this guy on video. So this motherfucker was really trying to be slick. He goes in, he's probably thinking, okay, oh, no one's seeing me. Let me leave a timestamp here. He stops. He actually orders. He doesn't pick up the food, which that's a big fucking no-no. And I don't know whatever happens, that kind of shit. I'm pretty sure they don't give it to homeless. They just throw the shit away. But either which way, you just caused another fucking wait in this long fucking line, all because your ass was fucking dashing without the dining. The least you could have done was take the fucking food. But yeah, I don't know what it was. Like I said, maybe he was trying to just cause a diversion, but he didn't wait there long enough. And sure enough, and as soon as he pulls into a whole another city, and the way that at least this part of Arizona works, Phoenix interconnects with a bunch of other cities, Glendale, Tolleson, Avondale. Once you start going East Valley, your Chandlers, your Awatukis, your Mesas, and that's a big fucking part in feels like a whole different town. But there's just different cities. Like I said, we were interconnected by a simple fucking freeway. And yeah, he went into somebody's house. I don't know if he knew anybody there. Tried to get in, couldn't get in, and that's finally when the police said, "Fuck it, all right, that's when we're gonna get his ass." Could he have been white? Possibly, by the name, because he didn't get shot, and he's still living. And motherfucker had a chance to go to In-N-Out, but they're still just tracking his ass. So I'm not too sure what opening they're looking for, but they got him without speeding because he was, I guess he was just, the way that it seemed like from the footage, because they literally have him from multiple angles, just driving in and out. This is nighttime, so you really can't see too well, but you can clearly see his fucking car. Actually, no, I wasn't nighttime. You know what? I'm getting a little bit high. That lets me know I'm getting near the end of the show. I forget what fucking footage I did just seen, but like I said, just chilling away, and God bless it. So, because I'm kind of half-witted right now, I guess it's time for some what the fuck?
What the fuck?
What the fuck?
Huh? What the fuck?
News. 10,000 scrotum frogs die mysteriously in Lake Titicaca. Now, besides that sounding damn near biblical as far as like what happened when Moses was, fucking with the Egyptian cat at the time, and they're fighting over this power, and there's all this plague and all this shit that happened. What's actually happening in the world where there's the most aquatic frogs? Like I said, there's some kind of, all the pollution and shit that's been gathering, and pollution is gonna happen everywhere. And don't even get started about how the fucking U.S. is and its ozone layers, all this bullshit. There's I don't even know how to explain or how to get into fucking scientific shit about how fucking just dirty shit is, that these natural beings are fucking dying off, and so many, in fact, that they've now, become endangered. But besides all that shit, they're fucking called scrotum frogs, and they come from the lake Titicaca. And for those that maybe don't get it, but titty, a bosom, a woman's bosom is what we usually refer them to in its most blatant way. And caca, for those that, I'm not too sure how many other languages, but definitely in Spanish, it's just another word for shit or poop. So just Titicaca, it sounds like a fucking, maybe like an R. Kelly position or something like that. No, he wasn't into scatting, he was more into pissing, but still, same goddamn thing. And that's interesting. In other realms of sheer destruction by the cause of our fellow man, urine is eroding the world's tallest church tower. which is a fucked up thing. This goes back to what I was mentioning earlier about having to, keep up maintenance and all that shit. It fucking costs, and it says that officials are now responsible for its upkeep because of this fucking gothic tower, which is actually what they're blaming is, and just to kind of give a further backstory, this is some German town, Wurtemberg, or however you say it, Ulm. I can't fucking do German accents, but apparently this tallest church tower is under attack because the aggressor of human urine that just so happens to be pretty much smack dab all around all these fucking bars. And I'm presuming that, and I've never been to Germany. I would love to one of these days. I guess they're allowed to drink as part of the culture. It doesn't, like, I guess nowadays more conservative, Christians or whatever, they frame about how bad alcohol is and shit like that. But in other countries, they fucking embrace it. Like, say you go to a fucking Irish town, I'm pretty sure it's right next to the goddamn cathedral. And in the same thing, like, all these bars are around there. So when these motherfuckers, are out pissy drunk, they literally have to fucking piss. And I'm not too sure, if there's not security cameras that even stop them, if you could put fucking little electrical traps so they could, zap the nigga in his pecker. But, motherfuckers drink, you're gonna piss. Unfortunately, there's this fucking holy fucking thing, and I'm not too sure if people are doing it out of spite because they're drunk and they're angry at God, or they think it's the most holiest place to fucking do it. But it's a fucking meeting ground, so to speak, for all these motherfuckers to come and piss. And I could just imagine if it was a faggot town, they all be blowing each other and everybody would be having a gay old time. But yeah, no, they're pissing, and it's hitting the roots. And for those who would have missed it, episode 3, Deep Roots, and actually I all the way around just forgot to mention it, but when the roots are deep, there is no reason to fear the wind and all the shit that it shakes up. And again, dealing with deep roots and fucking consciousness and nuances that help it sway into, other branches. Fucking, there was a store clerk who, quote unquote, was aroused in suspicion because there was a man moonwalking through the aisles. Now this motherfucker, I guess, was supposedly erratic, but he was just moonwalking from aisle to aisle trying to figure out what the fuck he wants. And how high on cloud 9 must a man be that he's fucking moonwalking, up and down the fucking aisle trying to figure out, should I get hot Cheetos? Should I get extra hot Cheetos? Fucking dum or some bullshit. But apparently this motherfucker had like a $2,000 bounty on his fucking head from some other fucking Neptune township. But pretty much fucking a gas station employee was fucking freaked out by the dude, called the cops, and turns out actually that he was on heroin, and there was just, and I don't know if it was a big bust or not, but yeah, a moonwalking helped fucking arrest a man on heroin. Now, in more half-headed news, there was a half-headed man who was charged with larceny after setting a mattress on fire. And in this cat, you might remember from a 2012 YouTube video, and he literally is missing like fucking the better part of his skull. And apparently, when he was 14, he was in some kind of like auto accident, supposedly drugged out of his mind, flew out the fucking front window, landed on his skull, so luckily it protected him. But anyways, this cat obviously fucking on some mental bullshit was fucking trying to burn down this fucking, not trying to burn down the complex, but there was two people in the room. I'm assuming it was the bitch and somebody else, and he lit up the fucking match on fire in protest. And you look at this guy's mugshot, he looks drugged out of his mind, he looks twacked out, nigga looks crazy. I wouldn't fucking want him around. And I mean, even if he were to get another motherfucker in the same situation as him, I really wouldn't think that two minds would be better than one. So shouts out to Mr. Carlos Rodriguez from Miami, Florida, further showcasing that all the crazies are in Texas, AZ, and Florida. So good luck, brother, man. So from what the fuck news, just what the fucking politics.
My country is the big sweet land of liberty. My
Bitch, do the jazz hands.
Yeah.
Now, my nigga Donald Trump is causing a divide amongst white people. Sound the alarms. Now, there was a show that Amy Schumer was doing in Florida, and she was talking about Trump, talking about politics, kind of doing her fucking shtick. And this gentleman who she brought on stage, was an older cat, which kind of already lets you know, the mixed crowd that there was. Because even when she did that one movie, The Trainwreck, some old man, also in Florida, fucking shot the head out of two bitches who were lesbian, possibly, either which way, going away from the norm that he grew up in, regardless. So the old man was on stage and pretty much just references that he couldn't trust Hillary, lying ass Hillary, or whatever the hell her nickname is. I think it's lying or thieving. I think crooked Hillary is what it is. And mind you, by the time you hearing this, I'm pretty sure she's already fucking president. But regardless, whatever, it's gonna happen. Anyway, so she goes on to say, okay, well, what did she say? I appreciate that, and that was just cool to hear that one guy who doesn't seem like a psychopath. Why would he want to vote for that orange, sexual, assaulting, fake college starting monster? Now, mind you, yes, do I think fucking Trump is a fucking horrible human being? Yeah, no fucking doubt. But once again, he's just talking shit. It's offending people. I actually saw a meme earlier that had the traffic signs. One sign said right lane ends, and the other one said left lane closed. And that was pretty much the 2016 presidential election summed up in just one picture. And it was fucking very true. Because obviously, whatever, you can't fucking deal, and oh fucking well. But once again, what she has said has sparked the assholes of a few folks, and they legitimately just fucking walked out of there. So, fucking A. I mean, there was a woman actually who, this dumb bitch, had mistaken a fucking town hall meeting for a Donald Trump rally. And I'm not too sure if it was just all the white people that she thought, okay, this is a bunch of fucking hicks, a bunch of Trump supporters. So this bitch thinks it's one of Trump's rallies, and she smears over 30 cars with smooth peanut butter in protest. Now, that's a fucking weird-ass way to do so, because if you want to fucking cause some harm, you make that bitch chunky so they can fucking chip away at the fucking things. But that's a whole lot of time, too, to have to butter up a fucking car. My goodness, like, I get fucking anxious just trying to fucking go over the crust, because I look at that blank spot and think to myself, I want to bite some peanut butter in that fucking bite right there. Let me get them corners. But to do a whole fucking car, Jesus Christ, bitch, you have way too much time on your hands, and I can't deal with it. Now, there was a guy who, this happened in Hollywood, obviously, with the Star Walk of Fame shit. And this guy was pretty much dismantling the Donald Trump star and the Walk of Fame, and people had already done it before by putting "don't vote for him" or just don't vote, or one says racist, another one says fucking shit I can't even fucking read. I don't fucking know. But then someone had they had like stencil painted like a mute sign, like to mute him, which, I mean, that's what you gotta do sometimes when people just talking crooked out of their neck on some bullshit. That's all you can really do. You gotta let the motherfucker live, but you know what I'm saying? Don't listen to his ass. Another one, which I thought was the most catchiest and definitely wasn't defacing property, because the guy who fucking tried to fucking jackhammer this bitch was defacing city property. Like, regardless that someone has to pay to get that, because people aren't just giving a fucking star. You gotta nominate yourself. People gotta donate like $30,000. We know how this motherfucker is about donating money. Regardless, you're defacing property. Anyways, the cutest one, and I'll try to post a picture on this, it was like looks like cinder block fence all around his little star, just as he said he's gonna do if he, were to become president, to keep all the Mexicans out. I love that there's an American flag, there's barbed wire, and then even there's like a little tiny picture of little Jesus on there next to like the caution signs, which I thought was fucking just moving, whether because the Latino demographic is gonna believe in Jesus, or just because, just to show like, this is how you peacefully protest. This is how you talk your shit. You don't fucking go harming and defacing shit, which, mind you, when they do this shit, the fucking rallies, I'm just like, okay, well, this is obviously the extremes. This is our domestic terrorism. This is just, motherfuckers that really can't cope, and makes me wonder if you ever got to play with kids when you're little. Fucking know. And it's same shit about statues. Trump, who had one not too long ago, him bare ass naked with a little dick. people were enjoying it. People were, talking shit, taking pictures with it, all this shit. Well, Hillary had one, and her was a little bit more, I guess, classy, if you want to say anything. I mean, they had her in panties, so her chonch wasn't showing, but, they had her pretty much like bare-breasted with fucking some banker guy, like, about to nibble on her titty, which, mind you, is a personification of what we're dealing with and why they say she's in bed with them. And obviously she is a politician. She is legitimately a politician. We could talk shit about Trump, having no fucking experience, fucking being a piece of shit of a person, but he's real. Now this bitch is a politician. She's thieving. She knows what to say, how to deflect, how to block, and give you what you think you need to hear. She's gonna give you the teta. And honestly, that's what my girl does. When she wants to shut me up, she puts a titty in my mouth. I ain't mad at that. She knows how to shut me up, and she gets what she wants out of it. So you do what you gotta do as a woman, and I thought that was damn near fucking poetic how they did that. But what I was trying to say is that they took down that fucking thing 3 hours flat. Some bitch was knocking it down, trying to cover it up. Like, why weren't we doing that with Trump? Why didn't we give a fuck about how that motherfucker was feeling? But we're gonna say this is disrespectful? Like, this is art. This is a poem. This is a true to life poem. But yet we gon' show a nigga with a small dick, and that might be so because he's like 6 foot something with tiny hands. Which, mind you, I ain't knocking, brother. I'm sorry. God bless you. But how we gonna let this bitch get through? That almost seems sexist in a sense. And then we want equality. Ain't that what you bitches are babbling about, thinking about putting Hillary in the fucking chair? That we gonna have all that? But we ain't showcasing that, and that just seems a little two-faced to me. Now, and let me get off of politics and some other crooked, twisted things, which I'm not too sure if a double negative cancels itself out, but there was a North Carolina judge that was convicted of trying to bribe a federal agent with some Bud Light. Yeah, a Superior Court judge was convicted on Friday, charges due to a bribe of a federal agent over 2 cases of Bud Light just to get a copy of some text messages. It was a copy of the text message of the judge's wife and some other man. Now, okay, obviously it's a breach of privacy. But if the fucking NSA and shit can see shit like that anyway, if a motherfucker's trying to obtain that information and maybe protect himself, his assets, I mean, he already had questions about his wife's fidelity really early on. So I'm pretty sure if he's at the point where he knows the other fucking number and he's just trying to figure it out, I mean, honestly, if I'm paying the bill for the phone, I don't know why the fuck I just couldn't have gone through the app to try to figure that shit out. Now, obviously, if it's maybe using an application that he doesn't have a password to, then I can understand it. You figure this nigga was just trying to pull a few strings to have evidence that his bitch was cheating, right? Maybe to get himself out of having to give the bitch half when eventually these two run away or something of that nature, right? But what I feel bad about actually for the judge, because even though he's supposed to be a lawful man, so in this fucking case, he is technically breaking the law, and he's fucking bribing someone in order to do so. Originally, like I said, he had agreed to it being, 2 cases of Bud Light, and then later on, and I'm not too sure if the fucking FBI agent was kind of being salty, because they're supposedly buddies, and I'm not too sure what kind of made him not do so, unless maybe this was his sideline, and he was fucking the judge's wife, who knows? He, I guess at the very end of it, instead of giving him the 2 cases of Bud Light, technically he goes to give him $100. Now that's a definite fucking transaction there. But I don't know if it would have made a difference if it would have been, giving one item for another item. Like if you're bartering, I'm not too sure if that makes it okay. And that's probably why lobbyists get fucking prostitutes and shit to fucking, give them a, thumbs up for a job well done or for a transaction well received. And by the way, we've talked about it before in the I'm Black, He's Mexican podcast about shit like that and just how there's actual laws that caps off a limit of what you're able to spend on prostitutes or that in which is considered a gift. And if you work for any kind of corporate shit, they fucking tell you some bullshit like $25. But pussy don't cost that fucking cheap, especially when you're dealing on a federal line. But I kind of feel bad for the judge. He was just trying to, get evidence that he's, that his bitch has a relationship with some other motherfucker. And although that is, breaking privacy defiling it, and I'm the biggest fucking advocate against that kind of bullshit. I mean, this kind of case, it was for his well-being, and it sucks that, he had to be in such. He has to be an example. And point blank, that was a breach of that. And, you're a judge. Now, drawing things to a close, in both literary standpoints, Vine is at this point, October 29th, 30th, whatever the fuck day it is today, is going to be dead. And it was acquired from Twitter back in 2013 and pretty much had been the staple of what made small caption movies, not small caption, but quick burst of fucking film into something as popular of shit that developed into your Snapchats. And fucking even Instagram adopted that shit with way more time frames, giving way too much time to actually be creative in the essence of what small 6 seconds had pushed. It was just fucking genius. Now, it kind of goes to show how bad it's probably popping off there in the Twitter sphere, because Vine has like over 2 million members. You know what I'm saying? A lot of motherfuckers got famous off of it. I'm mad myself that I didn't, but I wasn't giving it half a quarter of the shit that some motherfuckers actually put into this thing, and it became, legitimate business. And for the comedians and actors and writers who, lucked up off of that, like fucking A, hat goes off to you. And it was just a way of just showcasing how you can blow up if you really put your mind to it and are heavily marketed properly. But regardless of all that, they're gonna die, the service is gonna end, and they're gonna give you the ability maybe to download all your stuff, so just not thrown away. But it's sad, and of course, just like they do in the technology sphere, porno saves the day. That's what kind of popped off shit for virtual reality. So supposedly, and we'll see, in the future, but supposedly Pornhub is looking to buy Vine. Now, you know what? I will fucking say, one of the things that I miss the most, that I'm gonna miss if it doesn't exist anymore, I don't get on it too often. I just eventually will look for compilations of it on YouTube. But I love seeing fucking bitches get down, and people will show they wholeness. Let us not forget the phrase, do it for the Vine, do it for the Vine, do it for the Vine, I did it! Some bullshit, like, you get hyped for it. You really throw your inhibitions in the wind like a fucking shot of Dak and hoe up from the flow up. And anyways, I love hashtag white girls twerk better, because it just shows some baddies, some legitimately scary, sexy, pale goddesses getting down, and others just some really dumb bitches fucking making ridiculousness out of themselves. But either which way, it's fucking entertaining. And I've seen a lot of dirty shit on there, by accident, kinda. And it makes sense. Well, not so much that it makes sense, but it kind of connects dots as to, how it could be acquired. I'm wondering what will happen from it. I'm wondering if maybe they will, and I know this is kind of far out there, but what if they make like a dating site off of that? And I mean, that we'd probably have to live in a world of prostitution in order for that to be able to make money, other than your information of you being a horn dog, which Tinder already puts on blast. It's interesting, and it's fucking, I'm wondering what's gonna happen from it. Like I said, at the time of this recording, it's just been a rumor. I'm not too sure how the rumor was started or what the amount is. I'm not too sure if this is just to create buzz. I mean, fucking you got me talking about it, and there was enough bullshit to go on to think that it might be possible. So we'll see. And hopefully y'all can keep doing it for the Vine. And just to kind of, I don't know if it's just a recap or to kind of have a memoriam of Vines, I'm going to play a couple things and to kind of recap, give love and show love to. So this is from 2013 to 2016. So my bitch don't like to share, but that being confused.
We in this bitch, finna get crunk. Eyebrows on fleek, the fuck.
That's been remixed a lot. This is like a fucking little blow doll, or chew toy.
How you doing, Sister Siri?
I'm blessed and highly favored.
All right, now.
There you go.
LeBron James, LeBron James, LeBron James, LeBron James, LeBron James.
Damn, Daniel.
This is the most annoying shit.
Daniel. Damn, Daniel. Get it again.
This
with the
nigga got
white
free
guy.
shoes.
Who are you fitting to try? I bet it ain't me. Ooh, bitch, it ain't me. Caps, caps, caps. Who are you fitting?
Girl, you're thicker than a bowl of oatmeal.
This nigga jumpsuit.
Do it in the cup. Oh, shit.
Someone playing basketball with a toddler.
Yams. Sweet potato yams.
This is just a white dude wearing a fucking do-rag with it waving in the air. Don't really understand it.
It's not funny.
It's a little black kid. This is hilarious. He really has a face of like, cut it out. And these right now are three white people, nay-naying very awkwardly.
All the time. I wouldn't fucking flirt with her. I would fucking communicate, conversate, associate. You ain't never heard of shit like that?
This is a wipeout, and the kid just gets fucking smack dab in the back and just catching a bunch of other kids. And this is just some white bitch. Looks like she's in I guess she's famous. She's a news report bitch. Telling herself in the car.
Pepsi bottle, a Coca-Cola glass. I don't give a damn.
That's rebel shit right there. Right here's with the cute white little bitch that gets hit in the back of the head with a shovel. Woo! Good detail. This is a white boy making an epic fail of a basketball shot. It looks like he just slam dunked it. He likes that. This dude being attacked by a fucking raccoon. Never seen that shit before. This is a cat getting a bath. Sounds like you're saying no water. Yeah. So, and honestly, like I said, some of the dopest shit. And part of it, I'm not too sure if it's World Star that actually shows some of the fucking compilation shits. It's usually the ones that's the most notable because it always has a bitch tarking again, showing off her whole activities at the very end. But I think that's what made Run special. Hoisms. God bless them. And God bless all of you. And may the things that we lose in death, take us further in our new life, whether that be of resurrection or just growth from that in which no longer is. And in that same essence, I want to, like we did back in the day, give a sacrifice, give thanks to the Lord, whether in being glorious scent, like whatever your favorite marijuana flavor is,
Or incense,
or,
maybe. Bless shit.
just pure blessings, because we got to speak it.
I wanna dedicate,
Now, the first thing I wanted to really kind of give thanks for, besides, of course, being able to wake up every day and breathe and live another day and all that shit, is that Nintendo has announced that it's going to have a new system, a new home system, I guess, even though part of its shit is that it's mobile. Now, it's called the Nintendo Switch, and you might have already heard about it through the Facebooks and shit, because old girl, who's definitely not a fucking gamer, heard all about me, and knew that I was probably shitting my panties somewhere, and I kind of was, because for the longest time, we've been referencing the Nintendo NX, which I'm guessing meant the next generation, and we've been waiting to try to see what they're going to come out with that's going to compete with your PS4 and your Xbox One, because even the PS4 is going to have its PlayStation 4 Pro, and Xbox has its whatever the hell code name Scorpio that has yet to be released. Well, Nintendo had been for the longest, there's just been rumors and speculation about the next system. But like I said, now that it's out, or it's gonna come out, because it was just a teaser commercial showcasing that's pretty much like a more defined version of the Wii U. And if you hadn't heard about the Wii U, you probably didn't, because you confused it with the fucking Wii and didn't think anything about it. And this is what pisses me off, because I have the Nintendo Wii U, and it kind of almost seems like a Fisher-Price version of what this Switch is, because it has a tablet, but it's big, it's clunky, the battery life doesn't last too long, and you can only be so many feet away from the actual system, because it's not a system itself. It's just merely a controller, of a fat retarded iPad, of a controller that is. Well, anyways, this new shit, which there's already rumors and leaks of that kind of technology, pretty much is up there along the ranks of your Xbox and your PlayStation 4 now, as it is, not in comparison to the next reiterations that there's going to be of them, which could kind of be confusing, but not really. Just know that it's barely about to meet the fucking bar. It's barely meeting the bare minimum. They're jumping into that, even though that's what the Wii U is supposed to be. Anyways, they know that they did it wrong by the brand recognition of it, and just having it be a continuance of Wii, which had been their biggest, highest selling system. I mean, you probably have that in the closet. You probably have the Wii in the closet somewhere collecting dust. Your grandparents probably have this game. They probably played golf, or not golf, bowling or some shit. You know, it was just something that fucking was able to captivate the masses, which is why I think they went the Wii U route, bringing in a fucking touchpad since everyone has tablets of some sort. But this shit, next generation of that, so much so to where you can literally hook the left and right piece that would make it into a controller, which, like I said, if you'll see it, and right now it's just a teaser. They aren't really gonna announce it until next year. So January, once they have their quarterly meeting or however the hell that shit works in Japan, they're gonna showcase their real price and more about the specs. Right now it's just kind of cute to look at, but not really giving too much information, but just enough to get motherfuckers hella excited. And it was in time of their investors meeting, which had gone up, and I guess after everyone had talked shit with more questions than answers, they then plummeted back down. Now, Nintendo, for those who didn't know, is even though they're a Japanese company in the United States, they're actually based in Oregon or Seattle or some shit. I mean, so much so that they actually owned a majority of the Seattle Mariners, and the reason why they were profitable this past year has been because of the sale of the Seattle Mariners. So that was one of their biggest assets that they needed in order to be able to make money, which I thought was dope. And I talked about this back in I'm Black, He's Mexican podcast before, about how they'd got it because they were in need of it, and they figured because we're neighbors, so to speak, in the same state, we're gonna help you out, give some money. You know, they had money to wipe their ass with. So I mean, they had the dough, and now they're just invested in technology that can hopefully make it to where you can have your at-home console experience literally on the go. If there's one thing that Nintendo knows how to do, it's how to make a fucking portable system. From the days of Game Boy to Game Boy Color to Advance to fucking DS to the 3DS to the XLs to the new 3DS XL and every fucking iteration, they know that kind of hardware. They know the kind of battery life that can last. They know cartridges, which this game is based on, and that was the one fuck up that people thought of when, you know, GameCube, which was back when it was PlayStation 2, the original OG Xbox, and their Nintendo system at the time was GameCube, codenamed Dolphin. It used these little mini discs, which could barely hold like 1.5 gigs possibly. So most games, if they're big games, it came with 2, and unfortunately became thus inferior because it didn't contain as much as a DVD file would. But they did it because they didn't want to be pirated, which was smart and dumb at the same time, because eventually they figure how to do shit in ROM form. But Nintendo, who knows cartridges, is bringing that back, and now fucking like an SD 16 gig fucking SanDisk shit can only cost $20, so they're gonna be able to, you know, take advantage of that cheap memory usage, because the game can usually be about 16 gigs or more depending on how big. And if y'all own a current gen console, you know that once you get it, the fucking developers fucked up, and there's like a day one patch that you had to get the very moment you pop the bitch in, and it takes like half an hour. You know what I'm talking about. So one of the worries that I had, because I know that Sony had the PlayStation Vita, which is pretty much like a portable PlayStation 3, but it was hella expensive because, once again, trying to stay away from ways of being pirated, they made special little cards that pretty much made shit all the more expensive and more of a bitch to have to buy, and people didn't want to invest in that kind of shit, especially since, I don't know, I mean, the fucking reasons for it. I ended up getting one once I knew the bitch was dead, so I was hoping shit was going to be cheaper. It wasn't, but it's still one of those things that I'm able to take with me to get real, you know what I'm saying, hardcore gaming sort of shit if ever I fucking have the time. So it's a good look. I'm excited to see how that comes out. It's definitely on a wish list, but just like anything, I don't want it the first iteration because I know they're gonna figure something out wrong with it, and it's gonna only get better. So then it just kind of comes down to whether you want to be that motherfucker that's in the know, you know, first and foremost, day one, you know. That just sounds expensive, nigga. That ain't my style. But either which way, I'm thankful for that, and I'm excited to see what happens. We'll fucking see. If Nintendo doesn't sell great with this one, if it doesn't exceed the sales of the Wii U, then they might be over as a console company, which, I mean, would make me feel sad, but then it kind of would make me feel happy that they could then hopefully be in other platforms. And since there's two other big bosses, the Sony and Microsoft, and me myself being a Sony man, I can't wait to fucking play my Zeldas and my Marios on fucking PlayStation. I don't have to fucking buy all these different types of shit. We'll see. I don't want no harm. I'm just excited. And if you didn't hear me geek out, then you would know what kind of person I am. But, back to the gangster. Now, I'm a creature of habit and definitely of tradition. And we always got to heave ho a bitch into the fire. So without further ado, this dedication goes to Kato Lambert. She's a model, actress, I guess. They call it cosplay actresses, which is just a fancy word for a bitch in a costume. She's a clothing designer, makeup artist, all around badass bitch. Pale as the good Lord intended for beauty to be by power. And she's wild. She's wicked. Google her. Or if you're watching a YouTube video, then you'll see her pretty face prancing around. And I wish I could show you the nude pictures of her off Steamy Girl or Steam Girl. But man, I wouldn't pay $12 a month to look at this bitch. But yo, there must be a cabaret of motherfuckers that are, because she's able to live off of that. Anyways, and if any of you know about steampunk, it's like a subgenre of science fiction or science fantasy that pretty much incorporates technology and aesthetics designed by like 19th century industrial steam powered machinery of modern day shit. So for example, there's a game that there's the reason why I wanted a PlayStation 4 besides to play the series of God of War. It's called The Order 1886. It's pretty much like back in the fucking Abraham Lincoln days of having fucking, cellular devices, shotguns, and, saying shit of that nature. Shit that just wasn't, exactly designed at that moment, but that made it work. So that shit just all types of geekery. Anyways, this bitch got into it. She pretty much she kind of grew with the fad of what that was, and I forget the name of the show, but it's on Netflix. It's some kind of, just type in steampunk, and it was like a competition of motherfuckers who pretty much were craftsmen and cosplay players. Pretty much you go to Comic-Con and grab 5 motherfuckers that happen to be in love with the genre, and that's what it was a competition of. And they pretty much built rooms for a manor that would be, steampunk-esque, and it was very entertaining. Of course, it had its drama. It was your typical fucking reality show. It was literally made and broadcasted by TV Land, so it didn't have the highest production, but once again, you get the right ingredients, you're gonna cook something. Anyways, this bitch was a judge, and man, I'd be captivated every time that I saw her, and I couldn't believe what the fuck I was looking at. And it's unreal because she does her makeup on her eyes to make herself anime-esque. She wears the cutest little fucking like corsets and ages them to look, of course, steampunk style, and fucking gives her the raw hourglass kind of thing. I remember reading a story actually on Tumblr about some bitch who fell in love with her, who was flown out to their little compound house, whatever the fuck you want to call it. I don't know if she lived with some Asian dude or some shit that pretty much played daddy, because if they wanted another girlfriend, she had to, let the nigga hit it too, which God bless him. And they must have had some money. But regardless, she made her way and pretty much kind of created a career for herself in emphasizing in what she has. And once again, unfortunately, it's one of those things where your poetry, rings true and gives you, a bit of value. But again, it's something that just became a craze. I don't know if it's still a fad. I imagine, and I wish I was bold enough, healthy enough to, be out there at the Comic-Cons and shit dressing up, because Lord knows I'd be showing my ass if I could. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, Kato Lambert, just all around bad bitch. Definitely lets me know that Lucy is Lucifer. And that bitch is always in a bad dress, and I'm sure she never wears the same panties twice, if she even wears panties at all. So yeah, God bless and bless up. That's gonna bring this show to a close. Again, this is your host, Soul Papo, where you can reach me, online at pretty much any social media at SoulPapo. And I don't really get on too much unless, I want to do something that I don't have to commit to anything. You can reach me at, or you can go to www.soulpapo.tumblr.com. Say what's up right there. Be all up in the DMs. Tell me something I'm pretty. But you can also be a producer of the show if you like. So you can go to patreon.com/SoulPapo. And as always, one of these days, me and Verse can get back together and do another IBHM podcast. For those that don't know, that's the Black East Mexican podcast. So, yo, God bless. Stay up. And if you didn't like this podcast, you're probably racist. You can't stand it, bro. I'm about to fucking being all up in some white gushiness. How dare ya? And fuck Halloween. So this is her. Have my bed.
Dead or alive, you are coming with me.
Kiki. Happy birthday, Jesus.